Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. We're just hanging out. We're chilling. Banter of Truth style.
Mm-hmm.
Feels pretty good. Sharing a cigar. Yep. Having a...
We're not sharing a cigar.
Yeah, we're sharing one cigar.
No, we're not.
Don't be afraid. Nobody cares.
We got
It's
two
fine.
cigars.
And just stop.
Now,
It's
you
all
gave
wet.
me the cigar.
Yeah, so you're smoking a cigar. I'm smoking a cigar.
Yeah, you gave me this one, the 4 Stars Society by Binny's.
Yeah, it's a good
I
one.
have never had this.
It's good, right?
It's good.
Tasty. It's like 7 something.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, I'm a fan. Oh, shake it. Gotta shake
Don't
the lighter,
break it.
and then hold it on its side.
What the heck?
Hold it on its side, and then try it. Nope. There you go. Gotta shake it, and then hold it on its
Oh
side.
my gosh.
Boom. You can't even light a cigar,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's like amateur hour over here. You know what's fun?
What's that?
When these guys, they're like, "Hey guys, can you show me how to smoke a cigar?" You know, and so Jimmy and I'll introduce them to a cigar, and we're like, "All right, well, let's get a light one, the small one. You don't need to finish it. You just want to puff on, like whatever, do the whole thing." And out of every 5, how many of them get nauseous?
Oh, out of every 5,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah. They start puffing away on it real hard.
Yeah, it's like, slow down.
they
You
turn green.
You might need a piece of chocolate right now.
Yeah, and then they go to the bathroom, and then they come back sweaty. And they're like, what happened? Oh, nothing.
got the smoke sweats.
Which is an awful feeling. I've
had the smoke sweats.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I've told the story before, but years and years and years ago, I've been smoking cigars a long time, but years and years ago, I started smoking really strong cigars, right? When I had always been mild to medium. So I bumped it up to strong and really full-bodied, full-flavored cigars. And
that'll get you.
I smoked 2, boom, boom. And then I was with Pastor Jamie. We're in his van. We're driving up Prairie Street right here in St. Charles. And I've been feeling sick. Like, I am feeling awful. I know I'm going to throw up at some point, but I just want to make it to the church. Not going to make it to the church. I'm like, Jamie, pull over. I don't even finish why he needs to pull over. He knows Joey's going to puke in my van. So I got to get him out of here. Mm-hmm. It pulls over. I open the door. I leap out and onto the sidewalk, and I just start throwing vomit all over the grass. And it's almost like a sprinkler head, like, and it just kind of goes like in an arc. And one of our church members, a lady, was on the sidewalk right there. Humiliation.
And
it was not so great.
Did you have to explain you weren't just on a bender?
I go, I'm not drunk. There's nothing weird here. She's like, oh, there's something weird. Are you okay? And I smoked 2 really strong cigars right after lunch, and it didn't sit well.
Nope.
Yeah, so like when I embarrassed myself pretty spectacularly from time to time.
Not as often.
In fact, I wrote an article called A Theology of Puking.
What?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Wait,
Theology of Puking.
Was this for Leak in the Ear?
I doubt it. Theology for Puking. This was back in 2009. And yeah.
There it is.
Does it come up?
Yeah.
Look at that. Theology for Puking.
It's got your old logo.
Yeah, it's got my name on there and everything.
Not too long ago, I threw up at a very public place in front of a lady. She's a member of our church. Boom. It is easy. He actually wrote that. Boom.
Yeah.
It is easy.
It is sometimes
easier for me to filter the bigger crisis in my life from.
You cannot read, bro.
Well, not this.
It is sometimes easier for me to filter the bigger crises in my life through biblical theology than it is the smaller inconveniences and embarrassments.
For example, if someone steals my car, I think God is sovereign and will provide. When my family suffers, I think God is good and is doing something here. My theology orients me to the circumstances like it's supposed to. But if I lose my car keys, fall down the stairs, in public of course, spill my coffee all over the place in Starbucks, or puke in front of a church member, my theology often evaporates and I am left alone to merely balk, complain, or become frustrated.
There you go. You can Google search that and read that if you like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there you go.
It's pretty short. It's like your book.
Yeah, it's like, it's basically, I put it in a book. Who knows?
You might have, because you got preaching to myself in here.
Yeah, that's usually something. So, yeah. Well, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to puke. Well, I actually might want to for different reasons.
For what?
When I go to the Southern Baptist Convention that's starting today.
Are you going?
Well, you
decided?
You told me that I need to go.
I do.
You said you should go.
You literally, 7 minutes ago said, I'm going to pray about it.
I am going to pray about it.
Well, you just literally on air said you're going.
I didn't say I am going.
You just said, I'm not going to puke.
But my point wasn't to say that I am definitely going if I go. if I go. So there's a chance you might see me there today walking around. Look for the guy that's not wearing a polo, but wearing a black T-shirt and has beard, bald hair, and probably has a frown on his face because that's just my RBF, Resting Baptist face. So, yeah, the SBC. Now, technically, I guess it kicks off with a conference, a pastor's kind of a conference or a preaching conference or whatever on Monday. But
you can't make it to that, unfortunately.
No, historically, those aren't great.
But I think Homeboy's doing it this year.
Yes, he is. No, Hensley.
Yes.
Hensley is the man. Love and respect to Matt. Yeah. And if I was going to go to one, that's be one that I would go to.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, right. Unfortunately, you're not able to make it on Monday.
No, Matt is a good guy. They got somebody good doing on it. He's got a good way of bringing in different kinds of pastors of large churches, small churches, which is what you need.
That's what you need.
So yeah, the SBC is going down today, and we wanted to talk about it on Banter of Truth because even if you're not Southern Baptist, it's always interesting to learn what's going on, like what's really going on in these other tribes and denominations. Like when I go to a Presbyterian conference, like I was preaching at the Philadelphia Conference for Reformed Theology, it was me and Presbyterians, mostly Scottish Presbyterians. But I'm there, and I sat at lunch, and
you said it's time to spill the tea.
Well, I didn't have to say a thing, man, because that tea was just all over the table. They were just like, here's what's going on in the PCA. And they just started sharing. And I was like, oh, wow. And it made me feel good because I'm like, you guys are just as jacked up as the SBC. Ain't no difference.
No difference.
I love it when Southern Baptists are like, I'm just going to become Presbyterian. As if, by the way,
they're so great.
Yeah. They have all the problems, just different. Some of them are different.
Yeah. So they just wear a tie.
Lots of ties. So a lot of those Southern Baptists. But, yeah, man. So it's always interesting, and there is a lot going on with the SBC.
A lot going on. My goodness. So, now, Joey, as an SBC member for many, many, many years, you've been here since the beginning.
Since 1845.
Since 1845. When we say annual meeting, what is the annual meeting?
So technically, the Southern Baptist Convention exists for 2 days. Like the convention itself is 2 days. It's when representatives from our churches gather together to carry out the business, make some decisions for the convention, and then when that ends, the Southern Baptist Convention isn't in session, and so there's then an executive committee that we'll talk about in a little bit that sort of keeps things running until our next annual meeting. So it's when every church is allowed to send, roughly each church can send like 5 messengers to go and represent their church at the meeting. There's preaching, there's worship, but really what it is, it's about, getting reports from our various entities, seminaries, ERLC, things like that. And then we're making decisions. We're voting on new leadership. We're doing all of that stuff. And this year it's going down this week. 15th and the 16th is when the business is happening. And there's going to be a lot of people. Did you hear how many people are registered so far?
17,001.
Maybe. But here's the thing. Like I've gone to a ton of these. I haven't been in years, but I used to go every year. And
why'd you stop?
Honestly, I became very focused on our church and what our church needed to be doing, and it didn't feel as like me being there was going to be as beneficial. This is an important year, so this would be a good year to go for sure. But and I probably was just feeling like, I don't know. The more focused I am on our church, I feel like the more effective I am.
Okay.
So there's probably an overcorrection there. I went from being like moderating our associational meetings here and going to the SBC every year and all that to pendulum swinging the other way. Like,
I'll do nothing.
I'll read and I'll know what's going on, but I ain't going. But yeah, that's we're gonna have a lot of people. So 17,000. That's the biggest one we've had in a long time. You're usually not even cracking 10,000 at a lot of these, and it depends on where they meet. Like if they're meeting in California.
Now is that like actual attendees, or that's just how many are on the roll?
17,000 have registered. I bet we'll hit 15,000 or so.
Yeah,
that are actually there.
And one.
Maybe. We'll see.
15,001.
This is definitely a big one. And the reason this is
I wasn't even going to bring this up. I wasn't even going to say, you're the one that said it. I wasn't going to put you on the spot.
I might go.
You made it sound like you are going.
Right, listen, if you're listening to this right now and you're walking around the convention floor, just do a little.
Follow the cigar smell.
If you smell cigar smoke or see cigar smoke, that's probably me. It's in Nashville too, which is a pretty cool place. So, yeah.
I really want to go. I wish I could have gone.
Yeah.
I wish I could go with you.
You know what? I think we should do a road trip.
I would love to. I can't this week. I just can't.
Yes. Okay, then let me do a road trip by myself.
Okay, go.
Cool. I want to borrow the car.
Oh no, you're not taking my car.
No,
You can
not
take
your car. No, I want to borrow your car.
You can't take
I
the Bentley.
I want to borrow the owner's car.
You cannot take the Bentley
Why not?
because I just said no.
But nobody's going to use it for anything important.
You're not.
I would look so good in that. I like.
Yeah,
it.
you're not taking the Bentley.
Okay, whatever. But that would be fun.
It would be fun, but
Okay.
you're not going to.
All right.
So okay, it's a big one.
Yeah.
Now, what makes it that this is a big one?
There's a lot of things going on that make this an important one. One of the things is we've got like 4 guys running for president.
All right, so who we got? We got Randy Adams.
He's a country singer.
Country singer, executive director, treasurer of the Northwest Baptist Convention.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got Ed Liddon, senior pastor of Redemption Church in Saraland, Alabama.
Well, we got Al Mohler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The Moeller.
The Mohler, president of Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mole. And Mike Stone.
Mike Stone.
He is senior pastor of Emmanuel Baptist Church in Blackshear, Georgia, and he is the guy that was the head of the executive committee that we'll be talking about in a little bit recently.
So he might be withdrawing his name.
No, I don't think so, though he probably should. It's my personal opinion.
Mhm.
That's just me.
Yeah, that's you.
But that's not the guy I'm voting for.
Yeah.
If I go, I
We already know you.
I'm not necessarily going.
Okay, so when you vote,
It
we
just-
all know it's Mohler.
Okay, first of all, I would probably vote for Moeller.
Not probably. What is this?
Okay, so I would vote for Moeller. And these guys they're all Christian guys. They're all good guys. But each of them kind of have an emphasis that they bring, and I like Moeller's emphasis more. Okay, what?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
You can't do that. You can't like make the face and shake the head and then be like nothing.
Because okay, we have notes for this one. I just saw the heading for the next one.
You can't read that.
I know.
Don't.
But
You got to learn to have a poker face. I'm glad you liked it though. That was for
I
you.
liked it. I liked
put
it.
that there just for you.
That was very good.
All right, so we have, and usually it's like there's like 2 guys that are running, but like the reason we have 4 guys running is because there's so many
messed up.
There's
Because the
controversy.
SBC is messed up, and you know what? It's dying. This is actually going to be the last meeting.
Okay, it's not going to be the last meeting.
It's going to be the last meeting as one convention. We're about to get 3.
Okay, well then this convention will continue to meet, so there will be new conventions that would come out of it. So this convention will carry on. You're still wrong, but
Technically, you're right.
of course I am.
Yeah.
I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. Even when
What are
I'm
you looking
wrong.
for?
Something to light my cigar. So if I can get it to work. The reason we have so many people that have been presented as potential presidential candidates and these 4 have accepted those nominations is because there are a lot of things happening. There's
A lot.
factions fighting, there's
My
disagreements. And if you just pay any attention at all.
So many mess ups going on right now within. So when we're talking about, we got these factions and again, I joke about, breaking up into 3, but we do have a lot of splintering. There's a lot of splintering happening. I mean, we've had this in the past though, right? But it seems amped now. We've had, Calvinists and traditionalists or anti-Calvinists.
We've had that since the 1920s.
Yeah. There's complementarians that are arguing with each other. I mean,
You're not complimentarian enough.
well, yeah. Or what does that then mean for, is what's his name? From Saddleback.
Rick Warren.
Okay. Is he going to face pushback because ordaining?
What?
Did he ordain women? He called them pastors.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he gonna receive? What's gonna happen there?
And
right?
he's actually retiring, so maybe
that's
his
his like
swan
peace.
song.
What swan song?
I'm
Goodbye.
out. Lady pastors, peace out.
Lady pastors. I am going to pass down my Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, I'm going to actually move to Hawaii and stop wearing Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, of course, you got the woke and the anti-woke. You got critical race theory, social justice.
Yep.
And all of these issues have further polarized our people, and we've lost the unity that we should be able to maintain,
Yes.
even as we're trying to work out some of these important issues. Because they are important.
No, they are. They are important. They need to be addressed. I don't disagree with that.
All right, one of the things that
This is a weird one.
This is a weird one.
This
dude.
is a weird one.
Okay, so one of the things that happened back in 2019, because we didn't have a meeting in 2020, one of the things that happened is that a motion was made by Ben Cole, and the motion is that this convention requests that the trustees of Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary to authorize the seminary president and legal counsel to pursue through all means necessary the lawful recovery of seminary property, both tangible and intangible, including furniture, household furnishings, artifacts, antiquities, memorabilia, audiovisual and computer equipment, and any official records that may have been removed from the presidential home or other campus facilities without authorization between the dates of May 30th, 2018 and February 27th, 2019. He is referring to when Paige Patterson was fired as president. And the implication here is like, he might have taken a bunch of stuff that he shouldn't have taken.
Yeah, especially the records. Like that's the big part.
Right. Yeah, because the records come into play for a lot of purposes. Now, so that happened, and now there is a response. And the response, in part, I'll just read part of it.
Go ahead.
Because it's just really interesting. We're talking about, in fact, in Southern Baptist life, one of the most famous Southern Baptist leaders that's alive today is Paige Patterson.
It's Paige Patterson, yeah.
Here's a response that is in the 2021 Southern Baptist Convention Book of Reports, which you can download for free at the SBC.net website, or you'll get it at the convention. The Board of Trustees of the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary has authorized the administration to pursue through all means necessary the lawful recovery of seminary property that was removed from the campus without authorization between the dates of May 30th and February 27th. After the termination of then President Paige Patterson in May 2018, Southwestern Seminary learned that the Pattersons had improperly removed boxes of documents that belonged to the seminary from the president's home, then called Pecan Manor.
Pecan Manor.
So that's so
Pecan
south.
Pecan Manor.
You got Pecan Manor?
I'm going to go to Pecan Manor.
You know where I'm never going to live?
Pecan Manor.
Ever in anything called Pecan Manor. I don't like pecans, and they're pecans.
Pecan.
All right. The documents included confidential donor information, student records, institutional correspondence, financial records, historical files, and meeting and convention records. Through legal counsel over the course of several months, the seminary repeatedly requests that the Pattersons return these documents. In doing so, the seminary specifically identified the records that needed to be returned. Rather than return the records, the Pattersons advised the seminary that the documents had been, quote, purged.
Oh, someone took a page out of Hillary's book.
I don't know what happened. At the same time, the seminary has expended significant energies in reviewing and cataloging the archives of former President Patterson in order to return to their rightful owner items that do not belong to the seminary. To date, the records that the seminary has requested the Pattersons return have not been returned. Instead, and contrary to the Pattersons' representations that the seminary records had been purged, the Pattersons have continued to use institutional records for their own personal benefit and to the detriment of the seminary. Holy smokes, bro.
Whoa.
That's just one paragraph.
That's just one paragraph.
That's
some
drama.
Wow. So when you're saying, okay, I mean, at this point, then I'm just, never mind. I'm just.
You can ask.
No, I'm making assumptions.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Okay, so that tells me continue to use institutional records for their own personal benefit, right? So are they using the donor list? Are they reaching out? Are they trying to raise finances? Like,
yeah, those are, and that's the issue, right? Those are the questions, and that some of that's in the book of reports that you guys can check out. But obviously, this sort of a report is given and then spoken about on the floor, and so this is one of the most famous guys in the conservative resurgence of the Southern Baptist Convention and in Southern Baptist life, famous anti-Calvinist guy. So he also oftentimes, went head to head with Calvinists. But like, this isn't about theological differences. This is, this is different, and it's kind of salacious. So like, this is just another example of the kind of things that have been happening recently that make this convention somewhat volatile.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so in the grand scheme of things, this isn't it's very important. But
well, no,
it's not very important. It's not as sensitive as other issues.
You're talking about people's personal records.
Yeah.
People's personal financial records, right? Like, at least as far as their giving, right? As far as their giving. I mean, I'd be pretty upset as a donor, or if I was a student, my student record, my donor record. I mean, as an institution, the correspondence, the financial records of the school itself, which, I mean, we get those anyway, so maybe that's not as big of a deal.
Part of this, though, is that, it's like, we talk about this a lot outside of SBC life, where a pastor becomes the brand.
Yeah.
And so people don't care. I want to support that guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
And anybody who gets into a big platform position, that oftentimes happens. And that's Paige Patterson is not an exception to that. People loved and backed Paige and were all about Paige. And so people would oftentimes give money because of him.
Yes.
And so, he wants to work with and follow up. Listen, Paige Patterson, just so you outsiders know that he was the brand, they had custom stained glass windows at the seminary with Paige Patterson in the windows. You can just Google it. Paige Patterson.
Stained glass.
I mean, first of all, they're terrible. I don't know who they hired to do it, but they're super ugly and terrible. But
it's
weird.
Poor taste.
Oh, dude.
Poor
I can't imagine. I can imagine some. Any pastor that I know personally would absolutely object and would not allow and probably smash it if somebody made it without their permission. No way.
I'd give permission.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
I like it.
Yeah, you're kind of a dandy. You
I
like
am.
the idea. But no,
I am full of myself.
But if you look up, you would be so dissatisfied with the quality.
Hold on, let me see. I'm going to get someone good.
Yeah,
I'm going to get my own stained glass for my house.
That's fine. Yeah. So, So yeah, this is another one of those reasons why. Okay, it's kind of it's a little awkward. I'm gonna give Jimmy a chance to find it.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, Joey.
It looks like flannel graph, black and white flannel graph had been put onto the stained glass, but it's built into the stained glass. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah,
those have been removed. Southwestern's heading in a new direction. They're doing some really cool stuff, actually. I was never really eager to send people.
Do you think
there.
they threw rocks at them?
No, they dismantled them and had them taken out. I don't know. Maybe they're in Paige's bathroom now. I don't know. Maybe I if you like them, you want to keep them. I don't know how it works. All right, but there are other things that and
then even Mrs. Patterson.
Oh yeah, she's in her too. Yeah,
she's the dog.
Yeah, well, why not? So on top of all this kind of stuff, like you also have the very serious sexual abuse allegations, situations, and the mishandling of sexual abuse allegations, which leads us into this whole next thing.
Oh, here we go.
Which is that executive committee, Russ Moore.
The leak
situation.
The leak.
Well, yeah. What's the story? Is the story the leak, or is the story what the leak is about?
I think it's both.
I think the story is more what the leak is about. We can still have issues with how the leak came about, but that this is going on is, I think, inherently a bigger issue.
Yes, you're right.
But still,
absolutely. But I think it also tells. Okay, if, and I strongly think it is. If Russ leaked it, I think that's a concern for. I think that's an integrity thing.
So here's what we're talking about. If you're outside of the SBC life, and a lot of you are, Russell Moore was the head or the president of the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. It's basically an arm of the SBC that engages in social issues and
deals with
politics, policies, all of that stuff.
So I mean, yeah, he took a page out of that book.
So, well, just again, so you guys know, he would address issues like abortion, freedom of religion, things like that.
And
right?
he would go and what's the word for it? Lobby. He would lobby. He was a lobbyist.
No, he wasn't a lobbyist.
He's a lobbyist. He would go and sit there and talk.
Okay.
He's a lobbyist. You're okay. What else would you say?
Well, yeah, lobbyists involve money and all kinds of stuff.
No. It doesn't always. Okay, at the point, he went and represented us. And he tried to change policies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not everybody that does that is a
lobbied on our behalf.
Yeah, but not everybody who does that is a lobbyist.
He's a lobbyist.
But so no,
so yes, I would say he did not take funds. I would say he wasn't bribed.
Right.
I would say he wouldn't go bribe
in the most general sense.
In the most general sense, he was a lobbyist.
Sought to bring about real change. So, for example.
At the governmental level.
Yeah. When a state or a city is saying, we are not going to allow mosques to be built in the city, Russ Moore would be like, yeah, you should. You can't prohibit a religious organization of any stripe from doing that, because the next step is no Christians, no evangelicals, no Baptists. And so, yes, in that sense, yeah, lobbyist. Not in the sense that I think most people think about a lobbyist. It's just it's a kind of a loaded term. That's why I'm like, But yes, so that's the thing.
And lobbyist leak. Continue.
And well, as the head of the ERLC, he got in some controversy he was very anti-Trump for Trump's moral failures.
Okay,
just
fair.
like he was anti-Clinton for Clinton's moral failures.
Fair.
Yeah, he was very consistent in that.
Yep.
And he was very vocal. And
Yep.
a lot of people felt like he was too vocal and shouldn't be telling people who to vote for, except they didn't have a problem when it came to Clinton.
What he said Clinton doing. Yeah. Of course.
So so he got in a lot of trouble for that. But what Russ is now arguing is that what was really happening, it was somewhat about Trump, but it was more about his push in trying to deal with and address the sexual abuse allegations and, frankly, cover-ups. Maybe that's too harsh of a term, but the mishandling of sexual abuse allegations within the SBC. He says that's where he got into a lot of trouble. And it looks like, and we don't know for sure, but it looks like Russ wrote a very long, detailed letter to J.D. Greer, who is the former president of the Southern Baptist Convention, and that was leaked, and it looks like it was leaked by Russ, shared with everybody. And so there, a lot of information came out, but there were also some audio recordings that have now been released by Philip Bethencourt, who was, I think, the vice president. And he had been recording some of the sessions that the executive committee was having when they would deal with Russ and these controversial issues. So,
and I have no problem with what Philip did.
No, Philip was really upfront about it.
He stood by it.
Yeah. In fact, so Philip,
I think that's it. If Russ had put that out and said, again, maybe it wasn't Russ,
right,
but whoever put it out, if they had attach your name to it.
Yeah. I think just say so. Philip Bethencourt released this SBC whistleblower report, Southern Baptist leaders on sexual abuse in their own words. And so we'll have a link to this in the show notes, but here you can read, this is his report for everyone to read, but it is addressed to Mike Stone, who was the head of the executive committee, and Ronnie
running for president right now.
Yeah, him and Ronnie Floyd. Maybe one of them was the head, one of them was, I don't remember, but these are the two guys that were running the executive committee. And in this document, he summarizes key points from key meetings and includes audio clips from those things. It's definitely worth reading, especially if you're a Southern Baptist. And if you're just morbidly curious, then it might be entertaining on some level for you to read that. Now, just to be clear, when we're talking about the executive committee, people might not be exactly clear what that is. And so we can just pull a definition from the SBC website, right? It says, what is the executive committee?
Yeah, the executive committee of the Southern Baptist Convention is comprised of 86 representatives chosen from qualified states and regions and acts on behalf of the convention between sessions. The executive committee officers are elected from these representatives. Although the executive committee does not control or direct the activities of convention agencies, it reviews their financial statements and recommends the convention annual operating budget. In addition, it receives and distributes the monies Southern Baptists give in support of denominational ministries, acts as the recipient and trust agency for all convention properties, and provides public relations and news services. The executive committee also performs other tasks assigned by the SBC and promotes the general work of Southern Baptists. To carry out these duties, the committee employs an executive and professional staff in its Nashville offices.
Okay, so that's a lot, right? But the gist is the SBC meets 2 days a year. In between the sessions, we've got to get things done.
Yeah.
We got to disperse funds. We're going to get more information, and this committee makes recommendations. They don't make big decisions. They don't direct the convention.
Yeah.
They serve at the pleasure of the convention, and so that's how we continue to get things done. So Philip was in these meetings, and in short, if you take the time to read, it's a lot, but it's not too much. You can read it, you can listen to it. But in short, what Philip is saying is that this backs up what Russ said in his letter, that he was met with opposition when trying to bring greater care and clarity to this issue of sexual abuse. And a lot of it stems from the conference that was put on, the Caring Well conference.
What's the Caring Well conference?
Basically, from my recollection, this was a conference that the ERLC put on that dealt with the issue of sexual abuse in particular. Okay. And so they had some people come in and speak.
Good.
I'm drawing a blank on her name for some reason. Super famous. She was a gymnast. She's a lawyer.
Denhollander, Rachel
Yes,
Denhollander.
there you go. Rachel Denhollander. Awesome lady. Reformed Baptist, by the way.
Yep.
What up, girl? But she was brought forward, and the response to having her there and allowing her to speak was met with frustration, apparently, and opposition. And so, he's basically saying this is what went down in a day when, institutions and organizations are being held accountable for the lack of care of people that have been really put through the ringer, victims who have been put through the ringer. And that's dealt with here in this report. We should be humble and ready to do whatever is necessary. And so Russ and Philip, really felt like they were being met with opposition on this. And so this is another thing that's happening.
I think there was also something about, Newbell.
Oh, that wasn't in this.
Oh.
But yeah, there was.
That wasn't in this?
I didn't see it in here.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
But yeah, that's truly is awesome. And yeah, so there's just a lot of ugly things that have been said in the context of closed door, high up leadership in the SBC. That is, if true, grievous and offensive, and it needs to be dealt with directly and publicly. We don't have time for racist garbage.
Yep.
We don't have time for bullying tactics on either side of any issue. Ain't got time for that. Especially when you're a collection of churches, an association of churches that are trying to focus on the mission and make disciples. We should be a place that is truly safe for everyone who, we hear criticism and feedback, and when there's a problem, we address it. All of this stuff is making this particular convention a pretty big deal. Now, again, like we can get into the weeds on all of that stuff, and all of it is secondhand for us, except
is
for
Russ
the
going to be
audio.
there?
I don't know.
You would think he needs to be there as his final report, right?
I would think, but I would assume, but I don't know. I would assume so. But so Russ Moore is stepping down from leadership at the ERLC, and he is taking a position with Christianity Today as a public theologian or something like that. So yeah, man, listen, we like Russ Moore. I know him a little bit, and
we disagree, or at least I disagree.
Yeah, we disagree with Russ on stuff, and we agree with Russ on stuff, and that's the thing. It's like I can agree and disagree with people and still be cool. Like we should be able to be like, okay, so we're not on the same page there, but where it really matters, we are, and where we differ, we need to work it out in some way. And sometimes we need to have vigorous, sometimes heated arguments. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if you can't hug it out, if you can't say, all right, we're still in this together, then there's a problem. Either you need to walk, or you need to go, all in and show how this is an issue that gets at our core. And I guess this
do you think Russ stepped away because he doesn't see a path forward?
I couldn't speculate why he would, but I wonder. See, for me, this meeting could be, a lot of people are saying this is going to be a meeting that's going to potentially set a direction. And if we get it wrong, it's going to be a convention that is not just conservative in theology, which is good, but becomes more political and less transparent than it has been. Or I don't know, but people are concerned. This is making people want to leave. I mean, when I was a young man, a lot of people were leaving the SBCs. A lot of young Southern Baptist pastors were leaving the SBC because they were getting too much garbage about just being a Calvinist or being Reformed. Like, why would I want to be in this? The SBC, and at least some of the leadership in their experience, has been uncooperative and unhelpful, if not antagonistic towards them and their church plants. And I encourage people to stay in. Don't leave. Try and work it out. But it's definitely, I think this is even a worse situation. And so I get why people would feel the need to leave. I understand that. Listen.
Do you feel it? Do you feel that way?
I'm discouraged, man. The whole thing is very discouraging for me. And so, yes, my, the feels that I get are not like, oh, man, let's just stay. It's going to be awesome. The feel is, I just want to get out of this thing, man. What a mess.
Feels like, is this a dumpster fire?
Yeah.
Like
why? But then it's like, okay, so who else are we going to partner with? What other dumpster am I going to crawl into? Okay, it's not burning. still a dumpster. I don't know. So yeah, but my advice is always, pray it up, think it through, and move slowly. So like,
that's a big thing, right? Like, don't rush out.
Yeah.
Right. Too many times people make this emotional decision and they just rush out rather than, like you said, like, go slow, think this through, and make sure you're praying about that throughout this process. Because I agree. I as much as there's times when I'm like, man, maybe it's time to leave, like, okay, take Acts 29.
Yeah.
That took us a long time.
It took us years.
3 years.
And without big controversy going on.
Yeah. That took us 3 years
Yep.
of praying it through and saying, okay, maybe not. Because that just jumping, because then you're going to get in the habit of jump.
Yeah.
Anytime something upsets you, anytime someone disagrees with you, every time you disagree with someone else, time to jump.
Yeah. Split. That's why we got a bunch of Presbyterian and Baptist denominations.
Yeah.
It's like split.
Split.
Guys. And so, yeah. And listen, when we left Acts 29, we weren't mad. It's not because we had substantive theological disagreements with them. It just wasn't a good fit for us, like, missionally
anymore,
and how we, any longer, and how we operate and how we can contribute. And so we moved on. And listen, we're in great communication. Matt Chandler literally texted me last week just to say, hey.
Oh, no, must be.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Wow.
Did you hear that name drop?
You're such a big deal.
The point. No,
man,
I'm not
getting Matt Chandler text.
Well, of course not. He's not.
I'm getting Clay text.
Clay. Oh, Clay Guida?
Yep.
Yeah. The washed up fighter. Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Yeah. The old man who lost it.
He is old.
Yeah. Yeah. Clay Guida, more like a Clay Chin.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Take it back.
Oh, I have to. He has a granite chin. You can't. He's impossible to knock out.
Take it back.
You could swing a bucket of a backhoe against his chin. He ain't getting knocked out. Just knock him over. He'll pop back up.
I think I'm going to the August fight.
Really?
Yeah.
When are we leaving? Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
don't get invited.
You made fun of him, so I don't think you're going to be
allowed. Clay Chin Guida? Yeah. Come on. How has nobody ever done that? I need to be with those guys to help them come up with good, like, slams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Clay's going to be like, please slam me.
No, but I'll slam his opponent. So here's what you say. So, yeah.
He's too nice.
No, but my point is, like, nobody was mad at us when we left.
No.
It was like, I was like, oh, man, we were going to miss you. All right, like, whatever. Well, okay.
We didn't even get that.
Acts 29 didn't say that. Local, like, Acts 29 pastors said that, yeah.
Yeah. The weirdest thing about that whole thing
that
really told me it was time to go was, at least I didn't hear from you.
Right.
That anyone at the leadership level, whether regionally or nationally, reached out and said, could you guys, maybe let's reconsider, like, can we talk this through?
Nope. The closest it was is our very local guy who just works in volunteer sense in a very local capacity. I told him, and he was like, oh, man, we hate to see you go. We love you. We understand.
Yeah.
But that was it. No, nobody actually reached out.
Nobody.
No,
yeah, that tells me, it's time to go.
They don't care.
They don't care.
But, all right. So the SBC, it's happening right now.
Feels good when you give all those years to trying to help with the mission.
Jimmy's bitter. Jimmy's getting all
for
bitter
real. That's not how you run anyways.
Yeah. Tell me, oh wise one, in all of your experience of running large networks of churches, how do you do it?
You know what? I just know how to deal with people. There's just common sense in dealing with people.
And I might not know how to do it, but I do know some ways how not to do it.
Yeah.
That's
you know what?
Next
Next time, Matt, give Matt my number and say, hey, maybe you need to hear from this, because at the ground level, you're not, at least in this region.
Oh, he's listening.
He ain't listening.
He listens.
He does not listen to the podcast.
When he texts me, man, he's like, hey, man, what are you doing? And I'm like, hey, I heard the episode was really good, man.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he's like, who's your sidekick? What's his name again?
You know what? Show me the text.
No, he didn't say that.
Okay, you show me the text. I will buy you a box of cigars right now.
Oh, I'll listen. I'll get creative in Photoshop. I'll find a way to do that. All right. So in the end, Jimmy, when we think about the SBC, and listen, we've been the part of the SBC the 14 years of our church's existence, and I've been SBC longer than that in previous churches.
Well, and again, since the beginning,
since 1845, when us slave-owning Baptists were so offended at the non-slave-owning Baptists who wouldn't let us go to foreign lands and make disciples. We started our
because we saw what we did to people in our own land. They saw what we did to people in our own land. Said, you know what? I don't think we need to send you. You got that colonization attitude.
It's not a recruitment effort, okay, for your plantation. Now I know that's not fair. It's not how it was with everybody. But nevertheless, we are still glad to be a part of the SBC. If at times we are concerned and or frustrated.
Yeah.
When we think about like what the SBC really does need,
I'm just going to align with Moscow.
Stop it. Oh my gosh. You get kicked out of here so fast. So let's just say a couple of things, right?
All right, go ahead.
Number one, the SBC needs real confessional unity. We've got the Baptist Faith and Message, which it's all right. But listen, if that's the thing, then let that be the thing. If that's our confession, if that's what we use, then it should be required of churches who affiliate with us to affirm that, and it should be used as the measure by which a church is considered to be orthodox or not.
Yeah.
And of course, there are going to be specific situations.
Like, what do you mean orthodox? Like, explain that.
Right. So yeah, when somebody says like, well, this guy, they can't be Southern Baptist because they aren't. Because they are Calvinist, for example. And we would say, well, obviously the confession allows for Calvinists and Calvinistic people to be. Well, you have to be a Calvinist to be. Well, no, it doesn't require you to be a Calvinist.
Yeah.
You really couldn't be a full Arminian. You can't be an Arminian, classic Arminian, I don't think, and affirm the confession. But the confession needs to be used to say, this is what we hold to be Orthodox theology, and more, of course. It's more than just pure Orthodoxy. But this is what it means to be a Southern Baptist. If you're this, you're in. Right?
Yeah.
Outside of some orthopraxy, that would be crazy that you might need to deal with. So I think we're still too loose on the confessional unity thing. I think I'd like to see more of that.
And with what's been coming out, I definitely think there needs to be humble repentance.
For sure.
Like as an executive committee, as leadership, as a denomination, I think there needs to be this humble repentance and owning our sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Owning our sin and repenting of our sin and repenting of, especially these individuals on the executive committee that mishandled.
Yeah. I mean,
if this stuff's true, there is a mishandling here that needs to be addressed and it needs to be repented of.
Yeah. I totally agree. And if your defense, listen, if you haven't done anything wrong, then you don't need to repent. But if we have done something wrong, then we should all mourn. We should all grieve. And maybe there's a sense in which you could say we have a collective cry of repentance. But listen, why get so defensive about if things were mishandled? Then you just say like, yeah, this was wrong. And sometimes it's sin. Sometimes it's just a blunder. Like, hey, you know what? I messed this up. I didn't handle this right. I wasn't actively trying to do something bad, but whatever I did was turned out to be harmful. So now you can repent for your carelessness. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to repent specifically for doing something nefarious in order to hurt an individual. But yeah, humble repentance is good. How about thorough transparency?
Yes,
real transparency.
I don't want this stuff handled behind closed doors.
Hey, can we just why can't we have more minutes released? I'm down. Record everything. I don't care, man. Like, really,
I'm down for you know what? It's like a what do they call that? School board meeting. Yeah. Let's do it on Zoom.
Yeah, like let everybody tune in. They don't
have to tune in. They don't get to say. They don't get. There's nothing.
Right.
But all right, handle that stuff out in public.
You work for us.
I want to see what's going on.
I would. Yeah, listen. I would totally tune into an executive committee meeting. I would.
There needs to be more transparency here because obviously, based on what Philip is showing, we really need that. We really need that transparency because we need accountability. And that's what I want to see. The SBC needs more accountability. Yeah. We have a lot of members, a lot of churches, and we've got a huge responsibility. We are the largest Protestant denomination.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of things going on, right? The people are in a panic because the denomination is shrinking and we aren't having as many baptisms. And while that is a concern to address, you also have to keep in mind that our practices for admitting people as members and baptizing were wonky, janky, inappropriate. Yep. Those numbers were inflated. So if we're doing better, those numbers are actually going to come down in some sense.
Correct.
That's why we've got 15 million members and 5 million in church on Sunday. So yeah,
that right there should be a sign that we need more accountability.
Yeah, we need to be able to talk about these things honestly and not get overly defensive. By the way, you want to know what's going on in the SBC? I'm going to give you a helpful recommendation. SBC This Week. SBC This Week is a podcast. It's run by Amy Whitfield and Jonathan Howe. Now, they do work, I think, for the executive committee of the Southern Baptist Convention.
So it's state-run media.
It is a company podcast, but I will tell you this.
So we might not hear all the truth.
Here's the thing. They report all public news, whether it's flattering or not. They hit all of it and they don't comment, like they don't take a side. They just say, here's what's being said. Here's what's out there. I have I listen to it. Like, it's one of the ways that I try to stay in the loop. Yeah, they do it. I think they do a really good job. They're good people. They're known to be a people of character. And so those of you that are trying to figure things out, tune in. And especially before it's Tuesday, so it's a little late, but they've got the down low on all SBC convention stuff. But it's actually good if you're a Southern Baptist to listen.
Well, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You could follow us online on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head to the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast, or go to the store, joefostore.com, and grab some gear. We got that fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. We got blog posts and video content over at the website. And we've got this exclusive content, Banter of Truth on Tuesdays, Weekday Wisdom Monday through Friday. We want to thank those that have already subscribed. If you are enjoying this exclusive content, you know how you can get more of it?
Sign up.
That's it. Head on over at doctrinedevotion.com/all access and sign up today. Make sure you tag me in all your photos of the JoJo at the convention.
If I'm there.
Make sure you look for them. Get some JoJo spotting going on.
What's the hashtag they're supposed to use?
Oh.
Should they be a specific, or just tag you?
Well, yeah, because I want to see it, but maybe hashtag JoJo in the wild.
There you go.
JoJo in the wild. Later.